Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. 6 vessels, including 2 fuel tankers, have been attacked in Gulf waters and the Strait of Hormuz, marking a sharp escalation in the ongoing conflict between Iran and US-Israeli forces. The assaults, involving explosive-laden boats and projectiles, have disrupted shipping in the region. 2 tankers were struck in Iraqi waters while loading fuel. Iraqi officials reported that 1 crew member died in the attack, while 25 others were rescued. Both tankers were carrying fuel products for Iraqi clients, including Basra Gas Company and the State Organization for Marketing of Oil. Iran's new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei has vowed revenge for the deaths of Iranian leaders and warned the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed. In his first televised statement since taking power, Khamenei said Iran could target US bases across the region. The warning comes as several ships were struck in attacks across the Gulf. 2 tankers were reported ablaze at Iraq's Basra port after suspected Iranian explosive boats hit the vessels. Energy Secretary Chris Wright has admitted that the US Navy is not yet ready to escort oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Speaking to CNBC, Wright said US military assets are currently focused on strikes against Iran's offensive capabilities. He said the Navy could begin escorting tankers later this month, as preparations continue with the Pentagon. US President Donald Trump says rising oil prices mean greater profits for the United States, but stopping Iran from getting nuclear weapons remains his top priority. Posting on Truth Social, Trump said preventing Iran from developing nuclear arms is more important than the financial gains from higher energy prices. Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency says the Middle East conflict has triggered the largest oil supply disruption in the history of the global market. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz has fallen from about 20 million barrels a day to near standstill, sharply cutting Gulf oil output. The agency says global supply could fall by around 8 million barrels per day this month. In response, IEA member countries have agreed to release 400 million barrels from emergency reserves to ease pressure on the market. Iran will allow India-flagged tankers to transit the Strait of Hormuz, through which 40% of India's crude imports pass, though an Iranian source based outside the country denied any such agreement had been reached. A Thai vessel bound for Kandla port in western India was attacked in the strait on Wednesday, prompting strong criticism from New Delhi. The Indian Foreign Ministry said India deplores the fact that commercial shipping is being made a target of military attacks in the ongoing conflict in West Asia. US intelligence indicates that Iran's leadership is still largely intact and is not at risk of collapse anytime soon, after nearly 2 weeks of relentless US and Israeli bombardment. A source said a multitude of intelligence reports provide consistent analysis that the regime is not in danger of collapse and retains control of the Iranian public. A senior Israeli official said Israeli officials in closed discussions also have acknowledged there is no certainty the war will lead to the clerical government's collapse. The sources stress that the situation on the ground is fluid and that the dynamics inside Iran could change. Meanwhile, oil prices have surged past $100 a barrel as Iran's attacks on merchant ships in the Gulf and Iraqi waters intensified, disrupting key shipping routes and oil exports. The spike threatens to stoke global inflation and increase borrowing costs worldwide. Iraq reported that its oil ports have completely stopped operations, while Oman evacuated vessels from its key oil export terminal at Mina al-Fahal as a precaution. Analysts warn that burning tankers in the Persian Gulf could further constrain global oil supply. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for an immediate ceasefire in the Iran conflict. Speaking at a peace ceremony in Turkey, Guterres warned that the massive strikes by the United States and Israel and Iran's retaliatory attacks pose a grave threat to international peace. He urged all sides to halt hostilities, respect international law, and protect civilians. Guterres also called for an immediate return to negotiations to prevent further escalation. A strike on an Iranian girls' school that killed scores of children may be the result of US use of outdated targeting data. Video surfaced that experts say appears to show a US Tomahawk missile striking the area. But exactly how the tragedy unfolded has remained unclear, and the Pentagon has declined comment, saying the investigation remains ongoing. A source said officials responsible for creating targeting packages appeared to have used out-of-date intelligence. A second source confirmed that out-of-date intelligence appears to have been used. Pakistan and the International Monetary Fund have made considerable progress in talks on the latest reviews of the country's bailout program, but have yet to reach a staff-level agreement. IMF Mission Chief Eva Petrova said in an end-of-mission statement that the IMF team and Pakistani authorities will continue discussions in the coming days, with a view to concluding the reviews. Talks assessed risks from the Middle East conflict and rising energy prices to Pakistan's economy, balance of payments, and external financing needs, as the country imports most of its fuel. The fund said program implementation under the $7 billion extended fund facility has remained broadly aligned with authorities' commitments through end February 2026. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.